All right, Mr. Galanis, I just want one last question. I'm going to show you a draft email that you provided to the committee. Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Objection on time. Good job. Chair now recognizes Ms. Crockett for 1 minute, or 5 minutes.
1 minute. All right. First of all, Mr. Bobulinski, do you know who Elections LLC is? Yeah.
Mike.
Well, it's not a who.
Okay. Well, do you know what it is?
Yes, it's a LLC.
Okay. And is it the LLC that your attorney works for?
I believe so, yes.
You believe so. Okay. So at this point in time, I'd ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a document indicating that the law firm representing Tony Bobulinski was paid $10,000 as recently as January of this year by the Save America PAC, which you may recognize as Donald Trump's PAC.
Without objection.
Thank you. Now, so far in this hearing, it has felt like the worst episode of The Apprentice. I'm sure you're familiar with that show. It seems like my colleagues and maybe you and some others are trying to become the next vice president of the United States of America. You're auditioning or something like that because, Mr. Bobulinski, I know that you take exception to the fact that your credibility has been called into question over and over. But when someone comes to testify under oath, whether it's before this committee, behind closed doors, or in person, then we have to evaluate someone's credibility. And sir, I definitely have always had issues with your credibility, as I know that you are very well aware of. So let me remind you of what happened behind closed doors.
Well, you should ask O'Connor about my credibility.
I haven't asked you a question. Okay?
You are?
When I haven't. So when I ask you a question, that's when you answer. Otherwise, I'm talking. So,
excuse me?
With my time, because it's my time, I want to be clear that when we were behind closed doors, you called a number of people liars. You called the Wall Street Journal liars. You called Cassidy Hutchinson a liar. You called the FBI a liar. You called Rob Walker a liar. You called James Gilliar a liar. You called Hunter Biden a liar. You called Jim Biden a liar. And just today, you added to your list, you called my colleague, Congressman Mr. Goldman, a liar as well. It seems like, according to you, the only person that's telling the truth is you and everyone else is lying. But I want to move on to something else.
Is that a question?
It's not a question.
Oh, okay.
You'll know when I ask you a question, I promise.
Thank you.
So the other thing that I want to talk about is the fact that my colleague from the other side of the aisle talked about the company that we keep. And she wanted to go through a list of people that she felt like were bad company because right now the majority has been relying upon the testimony of someone who's currently sitting in federal prison. And we know that your company is the company of somebody who's been found liable of fraud, as well as defamation, as well as sexual assault, and for whatever reason can't pay his bills at this point in time. But I'm going to ask Mr. Parnas, so this is a question to him. Are you aware if Trump had any associates that have been found guilty of anything?
Yes, lots of them.
Lots of them.
Me included.
You included. Okay, so when you were called here to testify, you weren't called here to testify for any other reason than to tell the truth. Is that correct?
Yes, Congresswoman.
Now, we started this whole sham off because of the 1023, and that was debunked by you, was it not?
Yes, Congresswoman.
Way before we started this impeachment inquiry. And you mentioned a number of times this guy by the name of Rudy Giuliani.
Yes.
Now, you know, everybody is so stressed about the fact that Hunter ain't here today. But, you know, Hunter came and testified behind closed doors for over 6 hours. And every single one of them, they weren't limited to 5 minutes. They could ask whatever they wanted to. And there's a full transcript of his testimony. So I don't know what else they wanted to do besides the fact that they wanted to put on the show. But let me tell you something. This whole thing is based upon something that Giuliani came up with.
Yes.
And we tried to subpoena him that's what I remember. If anybody else remember, we asked, we said, hey, we should subpoena Giuliani. But you know, kind of like when we were trying to get his cell phone, they shut it down, right? Like they don't want the facts. But you would agree with me that considering the fact that you were working under Rudy Giuliani at the time that you went over to Ukraine, that he has maybe some valuable information that he could offer this committee as to whether or not there's anything that we should be investigating in the first place.
Absolutely, Congresswoman. I wish that this committee would subpoena Rudy Giuliani, put him under oath alongside me to get to the bottom of the truth of what actually happened in Ukraine and to the manipulation that Trump and Giuliani and the team went to do.
I agree with you, but somehow it doesn't look like we're going to get there, and I thank you for your time. With that, I'll yield.
Time's expired. Chair now recognizes Mr. Biggs from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Galanis, on May 9th, 2014, you received an email from Devin Archer confirming.
This hearing turned into a complete demolition derby the moment Jasmine Crockett grabbed the microphone and went directly at Tony Bobulinski. And unlike a lot of congressional exchanges that slowly build tension, Crockett came in swinging immediately. First, she highlighted financial ties between Bobulinski's legal representation and Donald Trump's political operation, introducing documents showing payments connected to Trump's PAC. That alone shifted the tone of the hearing from fact-finding to political alignment. Then came the line that instantly went viral. When Bobulinski attempted to interrupt her, Crockett snapped back. "I haven't asked you a question." That single moment completely changed the energy in the room. It was sharp, controlled, and designed to establish dominance over the hearing after Bobulinski repeatedly tried to interject during her remarks. But Crockett didn't stop there. She systematically attacked Bobulinski's credibility by listing practically everyone he had accused of lying: the FBI, journalists, witnesses, Hunter Biden, Jim Biden, Cassidy Hutchinson, and members of Congress themselves. Her argument was simple but devastating. According to Bobulinski, everybody is lying, except him. That's a powerful way to undermine a witness because it forces viewers to ask whether the testimony is actually credible or simply politically motivated. Then, Crockett widened the scope. She pivoted toward Rudy Giuliani and the origins of the investigation itself, arguing that Republicans were aggressively pursuing Hunter Biden while simultaneously blocking attempts to subpoena Giuliani for testimony. That allowed Democrats to frame the hearing as selective outrage, aggressively targeting political opponents while avoiding scrutiny of Trump allies. And then came another key moment. Former Giuliani associate Lev Parnas openly agreed with Crockett and called for Giuliani to testify under oath. That was politically explosive because it reinforced Democratic claims that there are unanswered questions surrounding the origins of the Biden investigations and efforts connected to Ukraine. What made this hearing especially intense is that it wasn't just about Hunter Biden anymore. It became a broader fight over credibility, political weaponization, and whether congressional oversight has turned into pure partisan theater. Republicans continue arguing they are exposing corruption tied to the Biden family. Democrats argue the investigation itself was built on unreliable sources, politically motivated actors, and selective narratives designed to protect Donald Trump. And moments like Crockett shutting down Bobulinski so publicly are exactly why these hearings keep dominating social media. It's not just politics anymore. It's performance, confrontation, and viral television, all rolled into one. The bigger question now is whether any of these hearings are actually changing minds or simply hardening the divisions that already exist.